We have another contract situation that popped up. There is another hold in on this one in Pittsburgh with Cam Heyward, looking for a capstone contract on his career. And look, like I think this is just sort of the result of what happens when you give guys raises. And this is why sometimes teams are a little reluctant to go in on veteran players' contracts and give them raises, because the minute you do that, there are other guys that are going to be pulling up to the table and saying, "Well, wait a minute, where's mine?" And so, you can go down the line. TJ Watt got an extension, obviously, at the highest level. And, like Jalen Ramsey comes in, they gave Jalen Ramsey adjustment, a sweetener to his contract, and he hasn't even played it down there yet. Aaron Rodgers took less to come there, so he doesn't apply quite as much. But when you give guys raises, when you give guys sweeteners, then there's going to be somebody else who's going to look at it and say, well, I've done so much for this franchise already. Like I deserve a little something too. So that's one factor, of course, with Heyward, is the fact that he can look around the locker room and see other guys in that locker room that have already gotten raises, that haven't contributed as much to the franchise as he have. Jalen Ramsey certainly hasn't. TJ Watt, of course, has. But he can look and say, I deserve it as much as anyone based on what I've given to the franchise. And then there's just the way that the market is escalating at all positions. And there are a lot of guys who signed contracts 2 and 3 and 4 years ago that are going to look at their deals and say, this is completely outdated. I need an adjustment. And so it's a little bit wonky with the timing. The fact that it happened, the week of the second preseason game is a little bit different. But I can't imagine this isn't something that can't be worked out. This is a player taking advantage of the leverage that he has, of course, because they are very much in a win now spot. They're in it for right now, and Cam Heyward is one of those right now types of players. But I can't imagine there wouldn't be some sort of resolution that they can come to, given how much the Steelers think of Cam Heyward, how important he is to that locker room, and how much this year is going to mean for Cam Heyward as a guy who's now been in the league for 15 years. And joined a team that, if you remember, was coming off a Super Bowl when they drafted him and hasn't been back to that stage yet.